Welcome back to another episode of Put It on the List. I'm Francisco, and I'm here with my bestie with a pair of testes, Andres. We have a fun show this week. Comic-Con is happening as we speak. Tons of news. Also, Battle of the Trailers. So excited. We also have some fun stuff, including a full review of the new Netflix movie, The Gray Man. And we have another double feature for you guys. Let's start the show. What's up, Andres?
How's it going?
Man, I'm so excited about this week.
We have a lot to talk about. Dude,
I know.
I mean, two of the things we're talking about literally dropped in the last 30 minutes. Like right before I was like, text you, watch this. I was like logged into YouTube randomly as we were eating. And I like exited a video and it said trailer for this. I'm like, what? And I looked it up like literally it just dropped like 5 minutes as we were watching something else on YouTube. YouTube refreshed with the whole new trailer for this other thing from Comic-Con. I'm like, oh my God. It's just nonstop. It is Comic-Con season. So yeah, it's going to be a packed show of just talking about all the things coming up.
Yeah. No, man, I'm super excited. All right, you ready to get started?
Yeah. Hell
all right. News and tidbits. First, we got Simple or Stranger Things season 4 costume design. You wanna talk about that?
Super random thing that the viewers might, I hope, kind of interested in. Randomly, I was walking through the living room and I heard someone talking like on TV. Christina was watching something and it was someone talking about the fashion or the jeans that someone was wearing on Stranger Things. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I walk over it and it's the costume designer breaking down all the costumes for every character for the last season of season 4. I'm like, interesting. And Christina was watching it. She said, you got to watch this. It's really cool. So she sent me it. And I ended up watching it later on. It's like 40 minutes. And this costume designer is awesome. She goes through every character, all the choices, how they had to like either find these vintage clothes or they basically had to make every single thing that they wore because these things don't exist anymore. And they have like just books and books of research and fabric materials and color schemes. And it was nuts. One of the coolest things, and maybe I'll try to see if I could put this link from the comments. It was just so cool. There was this shot where 11 has to like have a bloodied up, I don't know, medical nurse's gown kind of thing because she's like in the middle of a giant fight, and they needed to have her like being dragged through blood, and they had to like design that. So how they designed it, they literally threw some blood on the floor, fake blood. Grabbed one of the costume designers, made her wear it, and dragged her through the blood. Took pictures of it, sent it to the directors for approval, and they approved it, and then they had to like replicate that look on like several different outfits for like the stunt people and like the main actresses and all that other stuff. And
crazy.
Like, the amount of work that they put into the costumes is like, oh my God, you don't even think about it. That's how good like the work is for these people. You don't even think about it. It's just like, yeah, okay. It's just so smooth and seamless. It was just such a cool video. I'm like, things you don't really appreciate. But it's so simple, and it's also because it's from the 80s, it's totally relatable. Like, oh, I kind of remember that stuff, and I love the idea of this, and I love the idea of that when we were kids. So, for any nerds out there who want to dig a little deeper into Stranger Things, we'll try to see if I can add the link in the comments, in the description, because it's just a fun video, man. It's super educational. So, yeah, that was fun. All right, moving on from that.
Okay, the next bit of news that we have is from AMC. The spin-off series from Walking Dead, Rick and Michonne are going to come back, and I guess we're going to find out more of what happened after they left the show. I know you're not a big fan of the show, but
no,
I stopped watching it a few years ago too. But this could be interesting.
Sure. I love the Walking Dead comic. I've read them all, and I think I read it again twice. Like I can't believe how much I have enjoyed a zombie comic. And I started reading it when it first came out. Like, my buddy lent me the first issues. Like, oh yeah, you should check this out. He probably shouldn't have done that. Little he know those issues are probably worth hundreds of dollars because it was a little known thing at the time. But
Yeah.
The show was kind of But yesterday at the Comic-Con, the actors that play Rick and Michonne showed up to announce
Yeah.
like the show, and they're doing like 6 hours of the show, 6 episodes I think of the show.
Yeah.
So like 6 hours worth of story, and people were
Mhm.
pretty excited because they're some of the
Yeah.
best ones.
Yeah. I remember you're the one
So
that
that's
put me
cool.
on to Walking Dead, to the
Oh,
book.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got me into it and stuff. And yeah, man, that was a long series, and but every time a new trade, they were like, oh man, some more cool shit, you know.
yeah,
So
it's so
so
good.
yeah.
The writer,
Yeah.
Robert
Yeah.
Kirkman, that guy can write. He wrote like 100 issues of Walking Dead and like 100 issues of Invincible.
Yeah.
Highly recommend both. But
Yeah.
all right, what else we got going?
Next we got a show on Apple Plus. Season 3 is airing currently. It's All Mankind scores a season 4 renew. I'm excited about the show. I'm a little behind because there's just too much to watch right now. But the
Mm-hmm.
first 2 seasons are great, and I've heard season 3 is pretty cool too. And it's like a NASA space odyssey type thing, but it's not. I don't want to give too much away because there's certain things that it's not based on real events. They take a little bit of liberty with some
His,
facts.
yeah, historical liberty and just run with it. I have
Yeah,
not watched any of them, but I've heard they're very good.
no, it's good about to be season 4, man. So I'm
That's
excited
good.
to keep that story going. Yeah, so that was news and tidbits, and now we're going to.
Let's talk about what we watch. We watched stuff.
Yeah, we did. Um, I finished Miss Marvel. How did you do? You're almost there.
I think I'm no 3 or 4 episodes in. I still
Yeah,
hopefully this weekend, but man, it's still so good.
yeah,
I need to get to the end because always at the end of all these Marvel shows, there's like some kind of a reveal or some cameos, and the internet loves to like yap it up. Luckily, this
yeah,
is not like a super popular, like unfortunately, not a super popular thing. So not like
yeah,
the people aren't out in full force trying to spoil it for me.
yeah.
But I'm super looking forward to finishing it, hopefully soon.
Yeah, it's a good show, man, and I think
Did
it
you like the
ended on a
finale?
good note. I did like the
Good.
finale. I did like the finale. I don't know if it's gonna have a second season or not, but I liked just a different story. You know, like a different people, different story. The creativity was there because they had
Oh,
a lot of creative solutions visually to a lot of the stuff going on, and it was just fun. It was a fun show.
yeah, that's all I wanted. I'm like, I got that and a little bit more, and I'm super looking forward to finishing it. All right, what's
Yeah.
next?
Next, super excited about Westworld is back. That shit is good. I'm like I was a little like when the new season started. I'm like, oh man, are they gonna try to fry my brain? But it's been like the whole season. I'm like, I can follow along. I can understand what's going on, and I've actually got some of my theories they proved. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, I feel
You're
like
like, oh, I'm smart.
yeah, I'm smart. And episode 4 was another good episode, man. I just hope they keep that momentum going, and this is the best it's been since season 1. And the way if it keeps going like this, it might be better than season 1. So I'm excited. So Westworld season 4, episode 4, 2 thumbs up. Next we
Well,
got
I'm happy for you and your brain hanging in there
yeah,
and doing well and thinking that you're smart during Westworld.
yeah, just thinking it. That's good.
Nice bounce
Um
back.
Next we got The Old Man on FX. How's
Yeah.
that going for you?
Episode 4 we just finished, I think. Wait, no. 5. We're pretty far in. Like we're at the point where like it's midnight. You're like, we gotta turn it off. We gotta go to sleep. Like it's too good. We gotta go. We gotta turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the season finale just aired last night.
Yeah. I watched
Did
it.
you watch it?
I did watch it. But I think I did one of those numbers. I think I'll fall asleep. And I think so I'll have to
Oh,
go back. Because I don't know. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. The
all
ending.
right.
So but what I do remember
It's
is pretty badass. It
okay.
was late already. Pushing it too hard.
I'm
But
thinking
yeah,
when I finish watching it, which will probably be the next couple days, maybe next week, we'll do like a full on review, like a spoiler, because that show's
yeah,
badass. There's a
yeah,
couple things here and there that lingers like a tiny bit, but overall, that show's badass.
yeah. It's just a good show.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get into it. So yeah, I'm glad we're watching The Old Man on FX.
Yeah.
What we
Another
got
thing on
next?
FX. Another thing on FX. We got What We Do in the Shadows. They just showed like the third episode, I believe it
Yeah,
was,
no,
and
fourth. It was
yeah, I
one,
think you're
two,
right.
1, 4. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Four.
It's the third week, but they aired 2 episodes the first week, so it's episode 4.
Mm, anyways, we watched the new episode, and still going, man. It's still
Yeah,
going. It's fun.
it's
Oh, what they call
pretty damn.
the rapper guy? What's his
Another.
name?
Oh man, I forgot. I just know the cameo that was like the business manager cameo. I was like,
Yeah,
oh shit, it was
yeah,
funny.
yeah. It was funny.
I
Yeah.
don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, it's kick running on all cylinders, man. What we do in Shadows. If you guys
Yeah.
haven't checked it out yet, get on it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a fun 30 minutes. You're in, you're out. You'll
Yeah,
laugh
man,
your
it
ass
goes by
off.
so fast. Next
All
we
right,
got
next on the list.
Better Call Saul, episode 9, season 6. So I think there's only like 5 or 6 episodes left. But
Mm-hmm.
man, this last episode had that season 5 Breaking Bad vibes, bro. Like,
Damn.
dude, from the first shot, I'm like looking up the director. I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy. And
I'm glad to hear that.
it was top quality. I want to
Let
say
me
it's
ask
the
you.
best episode of the series.
Oh, let me ask you. If I've never, I stopped watching years ago just because it just lingered, and I'm like, oh, it's just dragging. If I just pick up this season, just from the beginning of this season, do you think I could catch up and just figure it all out?
I think if you watch maybe like you know how they break down seasons on YouTube? If you
Yeah,
watch like a breakdown of like season 5
like a
and then
recap.
yeah, like a detailed recap, then
Yeah.
maybe you can go into this and just start because I think it's good. Because you have to know
Okay.
about the Salamancas and Nacho and
Sure.
Lalo.
Yeah.
Nacho and Lalo were badass, bro, and it's like you're not if you start this second half, you're not gonna get that. So it's
Okay.
good to have a breakdown of season 5, and after that, because it's definitely
Because
stepping up a
I
notch.
want to see how it ends. I want to see how it bridges and transitions into Breaking Bad and like how the writers pulled that off. 'Cause it's the same crew. Like those dudes are really
Yeah,
good. But man, the first couple
yeah,
seasons of this show were a little rough.
yeah. It was a
But yeah,
different
I'd love to
show.
see that. I want to see the transition, and if that transition's there, I'm like, hell yeah. So yeah, I'll try to get back into that. So I'm glad you're watching it and glad you're enjoying it. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's great. All right, now we're going into
Ooh,
full review of the new
ooh,
Netflix movie, The Gray
yeah,
Man, starring Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, and Ana de Armas.
yeah. So
Oh
this shit
yeah,
just came out literally yesterday on Netflix, and we're like, hey man,
yeah.
you gonna watch it? Yes. You gonna watch it? Yes. And
That's what I did, and I watched it, and then That's why I was so late watching The Old Man. I was like tuckered out from The Gray Man.
it's a lot to talk about. I mean, all right. Your big overall impression of the Grain Man. What was it?
Big. It was ambitious. It was ambitious. The action uh, was good. Sometimes great. Um, I like the chemistry between Chris and Ryan, and but the story was a little little basic and not a lot to it. So
It was pretty much like A to B to C, and then it ends. And the one thing that I'll just start here. I really liked the movie a lot,
yeah,
and I can see ourselves watching it again. Even Christina was like, "We should watch it again." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a fun movie."
yeah,
It's also Netflix, like I think one of their most expensive films ever, and we can get into
yeah,
that in a second. But story wise, like it's based on a book, and I'm
mm,
curious if it's like a series of books because it only had like a slice of a story. They alluded to a bunch of different things in the film
mm,
that did not get wrapped up at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I guess they're trying to build something, and I get that. I mean, if you have Netflix, you're gonna be around forever. You just need to add more
Yeah.
content. So you're like, hey, whatever you do, leave it a little open ended. Like, all
Yeah.
right, but
It totally felt like that. It totally felt like they were setting something else up. But the
yeah,
action was cool,
but
man.
whatever they're going towards, I'm like, I'm in. I'm cool. First of all, like
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling was awesome. Like that
Right?
man, that guy. When he wasn't kicking
Charisma,
ass,
huh?
he was hilarious, and he has
Yeah.
like his quiet, cool, like man, I just want to hang out with this guy.
When he winked on the TV, did he think he was winking at you? You're like, yeah, man, I wink right back at you. Is that what you
I feel
did?
you, Ryan. I feel you.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he's dope. And it's crazy because I was watching a little bit of the first half of Blade Runner that he's in. I'm like, man, he's just good. He's just
Yeah.
good. Even when he's
That
playing a
movie's
robot.
underrated.
Dude, that movie's awesome. But, and then Chris Evans. How did you like Chris Evans?
I liked him being an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. One like at some points it was like a little too much, but man, I mean that's the character he's supposed to be, you know. But I like him being it was different, a douchey guy, overconfident, you know, and
Yeah.
it was good, man. The banter they had between
Christina.
each other was pretty good. At one point, though, I'm like, why aren't they in the same screen at the same time? Like, it was gold when they were together. It was cool,
Yeah.
man. It was like, and I'm like, dude, they're in the same city. Why can't they be in the same place at the same time? And but I wanted more of them together, because they had great chemistry. I felt,
Oh, and dude, Chris Evans and his skinny jeans.
yeah,
Christina couldn't stop laughing. Like the wide shots every now and then you see Captain America in skinny jeans. Like, that ain't right.
no socks.
Yeah. High rise.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude.
But I mean,
I
that's
mean,
his
it was a
character.
good
He's
character,
wearing,
man.
yeah. I want to like that'd be a funny costume. Like his little tight white shirt with his weird pattern, and these skinny high rise jeans, and like a giant ass mustache. It looks like he's gonna tip him over.
Yeah. And Ryan Gosling has some great one-liners, like on his
Oh, dude, he's
clothing and his mustache and everything like that.
funny.
Yeah,
And God, what else was there? I mean, all right, I'm gonna say the action was like pretty spectacular in all these sequences. The only thing that I mean, I liked how the action sequences didn't linger for like 10 minutes longer than they needed to be. Like some movies will just keep going. Like just like okay, it's cool. Like and you gotta know when to like leave the party at the height, you know? But
mm,
so I liked how the action sequences were like not overly long. But one thing I didn't like about it, I wish like you could see they spent a lot of money on those sequences. They're like,
mm,
damn, this is awesome. Even Christina was like, this is amazing. At the same time, I wish they would slow down the edit just a little bit. There's some stuff that was so fast I couldn't tell what was going on. Like slow it down just a little
yeah,
bit so I can register exactly what's happening. It's a little too fast here and there. Like just let
yeah,
it breathe just for a second. Like I know shit's crazy, but just what exactly just happened?
yeah.
When
I
you're
had the
spending the
same
money on it,
issue.
yeah,
I had the same issue with actually two sequences, like the first sequence in the beginning, and
yeah,
then a huge sequence later on. And
yeah.
another thing
I'm
that,
sure I know what you're talking about.
yeah, we don't want to spoil it for people.
Yeah.
Um, we one thing I was like, sometimes there was a unnecessary drone shots. Like, I don't know, like,
You noticed that too? Yeah, Christina was like, "How
yeah,
they do that?" I'm like, "That was a drone." I'm like, "What? What?" Yeah, it was just like it was just cool for the sake of being cool.
but it felt like they sped it up. Like, to your point of slowing it down, it felt like the
Hmm.
drone was going faster than, like, they just fast forward the footage. I'm like, why did they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it
it was
fast
a
in that
little,
instant? But
and
the actual,
stylistically, yeah, it didn't really belong. But
yeah,
overall, I'm like, oh, whatever. They're just trying different things. So I'm like, all
yeah,
right, I'll give them a pass. They're having fun. It's not like
yeah,
it's some high art film. They're just kind of
yeah,
doing their thing.
yeah. I
And
enjoyed
what's
it.
crazy is, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I knew it was going to be good. The directors, those guys have like a pretty high pedigree. They did Winter Soldier,
Yeah,
Captain America, then they did Civil War,
you
Captain
heard of
America,
it?
then they did yeah, little thing. Um, built some confidence. They let them go on to do Avengers: Infinity War, which is probably my favorite Marvel film, and then they ended it with Avengers Endgame. So they have some street cred, and they left Marvel Studios to go form their own production company called Agbo, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the writers with them that they wrote all those
Yeah.
films with, so that they had a good team. So they just went built their own
Yeah.
or came with their own production company to do their own thing, and they also produced Extraction. So
Yeah.
clearly, those two brothers, the Russo brothers, have like an awesome relationship with like a ton of the Avengers cast, because they got like Chris Evans doing. They got Captain America. They got Thor. I know
Yeah.
I'm missing another one, but yeah. So they just it's cool that the actors are following them to like their next thing.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
clearly they all get along, and they make fun stuff together, and I'm all for it. And their next film is Extraction 2, which I think is next year, which I'm
Yeah.
all about.
Yeah, that was
So
another
that'll be
great film.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
I have
took their stunt.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's I think it's a stunt coordinator for all those those Marvel films. They gave him his first shot at directing a film. He directed Extraction. So they all like they grabbed their people and they got their team and they just keep making films together, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's no, all their stuff has been great. So um looking forward to seeing more. What I was gonna bring up is um dude, I was blown away by how beautiful Ana de Armas looked. I was like, who is this chick?
Oh yeah?
And because I think I've seen her like in 3 movies, but I never remember her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who is this person? She's beautiful. And I'm like, and I look at Ana de Armas, I'm like, that each movie she looks different. She looks like a
Yeah.
different person in each movie. And I don't know if it's because like the time gaps have been crazy, because some of these films have been shot before pandemic and blah blah blah,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this other stuff. But yeah, man, she's got something, man. She's beautiful, and she did a good job in this movie too.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that was funny though, when she was running, and it's like, does she have like superhuman speed or what? Did you notice that?
There's a couple
Like,
parts here and there like, wait, what?
yeah, but yeah. So Ana de Armas was really good in it too. I gotta
Yeah.
say, a nitpick for me was, um, Billy Bob Thornton. I'm like, I
Oh.
don't know. He kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say mailed it in, but I was like, he was just like reading online. He read lines worse than I do. And
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, that's saying a lot, bro. I'm like, ow, don't do that. Ooh, ooh. I
Well,
don't know, man.
don't worry, your current position is secured from Billy Bob, so you don't have to worry about it.
I'm gonna call my agent. But yeah, so he was a nitpick for me. I'm like, I thought he was a little underwhelming.
Little wooden. All
Yeah.
right. You know who also I thought was he's a good I mean, he just didn't he literally was like the most flat character in the entire film was that dude from Bridgerton, Reggie. I don't know his name. Reggie
Janae something.
Yeah, the main CIA kind of guy.
Antagonist, yeah.
He was the most generic character in the whole film. Like he had like almost nothing to do. I'm like, man, that guy is cool. Like that dude's gonna have a career. He just needs to get some better parts.
Yeah. I noticed a cameo too in there. Steve Aoki cameo. If anybody watches this film and recognizes him, let me know if that was Steve Aoki. He's a famous DJ.
I think I know you're talking about. I think it was not, because I watched the credits because I was trying to figure out who this character was. I'm like, what is going on here? Why is this sticking out in a weird way? But yeah, we'll talk about that later. I don't want to spoil anything, but the character cracked me up regardless.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got to say, man. Gray Man was fun. Like I think the rewatchability is super high. We're totally gonna watch it again. I mean, it's based on like the charisma of the lead characters, and to your point of Ana de Armas, it's trippy that like the first time she really stood out was in Knives Out, sitting in the theater. I'm like, she's good. She looks so, but they made her totally frumpy in that role, but she was great in that role.
Yeah.
And then to later on learn that, wait a minute, I've already seen her. She was in Blade Runner with Ryan Gosling, and she looked completely different, like supermodel, like super pretty. Like she's supposed to be playing like this computer generated version of like beauty, and they cast her, and she looks so different, but she played it so good.
Yeah.
And then she went from that to like frumpy and Knives Out to like she was kind of cool in the James Bond movie, but then she was like superhuman cool in this one. I was
Yeah.
like, damn. So she's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah.
She's double threat right now. She got the looks and she can act.
Yeah. Looking
And
forward to seeing more.
and the one I'll leave it here. The visually the beginning, they play with fireworks. I loved it. It was so cool how they used that like
Yeah.
visual kind of just the gag. I'm like, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like so yeah,
You
you
know,
know what you're in for from the opening season. Go ahead.
yeah, that reminded me of those old Jet Li films, like Once Upon a Time in China films, when
Yeah.
they had like on a lower scale, of course, like,
Yeah.
20, 30 year ago, a special effect budget,
Yeah. Well,
but it was
actual
like that kind
fireworks,
of
not
stuff.
like CG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that was a good gimmick. Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah, I thought
cool.
it was really cool. That was fun.
And
You're
the
like, damn,
camera
this is gonna be that
movement,
kind of a movie. Yeah.
the camera movement was crazy. You're like, whoa! It was like a little ride. It was pretty cool.
And then there was I don't want to say it. There were just a it's not a big spoiler. In the beginning, like and they're in the club and all these balloons were all over the place. I'm like, this is a lot like the opening of Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, where they're fighting and like all these balloons start falling and it's all
Mhm.
chaos. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. It's just a fun movie, man. Gray Man. Check it out, folks. Anything else from the Gray Man?
No, that's it. It was cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, moving on. What do we got next?
Next, huge, huge trailer section. We got a lot of trailers, guys. Um, some really good ones. First, we got "Don't Worry, Darling," directed by Olivia Wilde, starring
Yeah, second film.
Florence Pugh, Chris Pine, and it comes out in theaters in September.
What's funny is there's a ton of actors. We didn't even add them because it's just a huge list.
Yeah,
This is Olivia Wilde's second directorial film after she did Booksmart. I didn't watch it. I really want to watch it.
you haven't seen Booksmart?
No, I know.
Dang! Hey,
You can slap me around.
when you get Hulu, it's on Hulu, bro. It's like
Oh,
it's on there,
more
bro.
reason to get Hulu. That's happening probably this week or so. I've been saying that for like a month, but
I know.
with Predator coming up, it's 100% happening. So.
Welcome to my life, guys. This guy,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr.
Anyways,
Procrastinator over here.
the trailer.
The
I think the trailer's
looked
cool.
good.
It's like it's creepy and trippy, and the performances are interesting. I really, really like Florence Pugh as an actress. Like, I think she's awesome. Like
Yeah.
the shit she does, from like serious to like comedy. I'm like, damn, she's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
The trailer was good, man. And it was like, at first I was like, where's it going? And this and that. And it's got that Stepford Wives vibes. And then,
Yeah.
but it gets darker and darker. You're like, damn, where's this going? And the first time I ever saw Florence Pugh was in Midsommar. And if you haven't seen that, that's a trip. It's a crazy trip, a thriller.
I saw the
suspense.
trailer and I'm good.
Yeah. And like, I gotta say, seeing Florence Pugh into distress, oh man, it's she does a really good job. I believe it. I believe every time she's like, I'm in danger. Yeah, you are, girl. Run, girl. But yeah. So, anyways, Florence Pugh always does a great job. I'm excited to see this. I want to see how deep this goes. Because it just looks like it keeps spiraling out. I want to find out.
Dude, I think the first time I saw Florence Pugh in a couple things, I didn't really realize like Little Women. She was in like the remake of that, and I was like, oh, whatever. But then when I saw her in Black Widow, and she was cracking me up to no end, I'm like, damn, she's awesome.
Crazy timing.
Like,
yeah,
dude, she is so funny, like so funny. So I'm like, I'm all for it. Whatever she's in, I'm like, I'm in.
She kind of owned that
All right,
movie. She owned that movie,
dude.
and she owned the Hawkeye. She kind of stole Hawkeye for her.
Yeah, 100%. Like, keep her away. She's gonna steal all your scenes.
Yeah. So next we got literally right before we started recording and laying down the format for the pod, Shazam 2 trailer came out. And what are your thoughts, buddy?
It looks fun. I know I might be alone a little bit here, but I really like the first Shazam. I think because I was so just like the Zack Snyder films just bum me out of the DC world. I'm like, these all just there's like sad and unhappy and shitty. There's no joy or fun. It's just like
No
everything
jokes.
sucks. Everything's sad. The end. I'm like, what kind of fucking movie is that? Like,
Yeah.
oh. So, and then this film came out and it was like the opposite of that. I'm like, this is fun. And they got Zachary Levi, who's always a blast to watch on screen. And I'm like, dude. And then we watched it. We didn't go to the theater because I was like, I don't know if I'm willing to go to a DC thing at this point anymore. And we watched it. And I'm like, this is really fucking fun. So I super dug it. And this, all right. And Shazam 2 looks like they're just turning it up to like much higher with way more destruction and a bigger budget. It looks really funny. It's like it's got some heart. And I'm in. I'm in. What
Yeah.
and you? Where are you at?
I'm not as high as you on the first Shazam, but I'm gonna give it a shot. See what happens. I I did like some of the humor. It was much needed. We needed some laughs and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think Zachary Levi did a great job. Playing that character, like a
Yeah,
kid
it's
in a
funny because
man's
he's like,
body.
yeah. Oh yeah. Because he had to exactly, and he's like 7 feet tall or something. And he's like this
Yeah,
7 foot tall goofy dude. I'm like,
yeah,
it's funny. It's
it-
just funny. Ah,
yeah,
that's all I want. That's all I want. It's fun to laugh.
yeah. So, anyways, it looked funny. It looks good. The action pack. Helen Mirren's in it. Pretty cool. I'll take
Yeah,
it.
surprised.
Yeah, and I'm surprised by her. She's not afraid to mix it up
No.
in the genre
Yeah,
films. So
yeah,
good for her. Moving on,
and yeah, moving on.
unless you got something else.
No, it's a big cast. Like they've expanded a lot. They've expanded the scope of it. Like they're destroying a lot of shit in this movie. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's going to be good. So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed.
One thing I did notice when they were destroying stuff in the trailer,
Yeah.
they made sure they showed that shit was empty. They didn't want any backlash.
Yeah. Speaking of the exact, if there was a Zack Snyder film, it would have been
Yeah.
like birthday parties and bar mitzvahs in every building that was destroyed because that's
Yeah.
just how he does it.
He would show the silhouettes of people looking at the windows just getting fucking blown up. We're like, oh yeah, you're next.
Yeah. Anyways.
Moving on, we got another sequel, John Wick 4. Surprise trailer just dropped last night.
Surprise. Yeah. Keanu Reeves was at the Comic-Con like all day yesterday, just like hanging
Yeah.
out and like doing panels and just hanging out. I'm like, damn, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love John Wick, so I have no complaints. I was already in before the trailer, but now
Yeah.
I'm really in. I'm like, oh yeah,
The trailer looks awesome.
yeah. So I'm excited to see what happens. It's just more John Wick doing John Wick things. What was his name? Baba? What? Baba?
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga, man. Baba Yaga's no fucking joke. So
Nope. How many pencils are they going to give him for this film? We'll see how it goes. My only concern, I think they just said that they're going to do like 2 more John Wick films on top of this. I'm not sure. And then
Yeah.
they had the Continental, which is the show based on the John Wick Continental.
Mhm.
And there was something else. Oh, and they're doing a ballerina spin-off of like the ballerina assassins in the John Wick
yeah.
world. Are we going to get John Wick overload? Because at some point, how much story is left for like, and how many bodies are left to like just be disposed of? Like Jesus, is like every person on the fucking planet an assassin now?
Yeah. I think that as long as the quality is above average, I think I'm okay with it. Because, dude, there's fucking 10 Fast and the Furious films. You know
That
what
is
I'm
true.
saying?
And the and like 9 of them suck, and they
Yeah.
keep making them.
So it's like, how many Resident Evil movies did they make? I don't even know.
Yeah,
There's
and
like,
these are fun and rewatchable. Like once you get
Yeah.
through like a Fast and the Furious or Resident
Yeah.
Evil, like okay, I'm kind of good.
how many
yeah,
Star Trek things are there? Fucking tons.
Yeah, but I'm all for it. It looks like a badass John Wick movie. I don't know what to say. There's some shots with like some kettlebells where he's like working out in the
Yeah.
background. I'm like, damn, John Wick's not fucking around in this one.
Yeah. I love when in a John Wick sequence when he punches a guy or shoots a guy and the guy's out. but he goes in and double taps it just for no reason, just keeps going ta 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 ta. I'm like, damn, John, he didn't need 5 more bullet holes in his body.
The one thing that bugged me, I think they're doing it in the trailer, is like they did something in I think the last film where like here's a tailor made nice suit that you look good in, and it's also bulletproof. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna hurt when you get shot. It's like being hit by a baseball bat full swing, and like he's like getting unloaded on while wearing this suit, and he's just like doo 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 doo. I'm like, that's a little too much arm. Like, don't make it so easy. You know what I mean? Like, at least
Yeah,
like I
go
don't know.
down
But anyway,
or like
yeah,
grimace a little bit.
at least be like, ow. Like if someone's gonna hit you with a baseball bat, you might lose the feeling in your arm for like a minute or two. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, it's a comic film. It looks fun. I'm all for it.
Yeah. All right, man. Time for the big dogs.
All right. You ready for this one?
Battle of the trailers. Game of
Dude.
Thrones. The new Game of Thrones series, which is called House of the Dragon, versus Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
What's that called? The something of the Rings?
Rise of the Rings. Revenge of the Rings.
I don't know, something like that. Return of the
Fucking
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
But anyways, the Rings show on Amazon. They both released trailers. They did it. They're trolling each other basically. They're going back and forth. Yeah. You release a trailer. Oh, I'll release a trailer. Oh wait, I got another trailer for your ass. So anyways, we got like 3 trailers total within a week of these shows.
Here's a dragon. Wait, now we got 2 dragons. What's up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's time for the fantasy renaissance.
Yeah, within like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, like there's been like 5 trailers released. They're just like, bam, oh yeah, bam, oh yeah, fuck you, no, fuck you. And then like yesterday at the Comic-Con, they released Lord of the Rings, like their
Another
longest, biggest trailer of all. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, which looked amazing.
So yeah, I think all of them look good. Like especially the last Lord of the Rings trailer, I was a little iffy on it, but I'm like, oh, and it's got like the some of those creepy horror vibes from the first trilogy. I'm like, ooh, this is getting cool, and like visually, it's interesting. Yeah, and it's like it looks good, and I kind of see what they're trying to do with the story. I'm like, okay. It's like they're doing like the beginnings of Sauron and some other shit, and like there's this badass shot of this sword that's kind of like mystically forming out of like smoke and fire. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. Yeah, I don't know what any of it is, but it all looks cool. And there's someone swimming for a shot. I'm like, what the shit? And it looks cool. Yeah, like, goddamn, the amount of money they spent, man. Yeah. And then let's talk about the Game of Thrones trailer. What were your thoughts?
I kind of like that better because narratively, I think I followed along better. So like, I feel like I know what the show's about. Yeah. And Lord of the Rings, I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So, and there was still plenty of action, and we saw. Okay, this is the bad team. This is the good team. Or like this is team A. This is team B. So I kind of like that.
Let's get stabbing.
Yeah, and you got dragons. I'll raise you a fucking dragon. Like I liked it. So I'm ready for Game of Thrones, buddy.
I really dug the fact that if you didn't tell me it was like in the Game of Thrones world, it was like separated by like the look and the feel and the costumes and the designs and like everything. It looks like it's its own thing. Yeah. Which I'm like, that's tough to do that. But they hired all the right people. That cast looks really good. It looks pretty cool. Yeah. I was a little like iffy, but I'm like, this looks cool. And I mean, they did the right thing by.
Go ahead, finish. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think they did the right thing by making it about the Targaryens, the dragon family, because you just have a bunch of dragons hanging out. And that's always cool.
Yeah. And they seem like the most mysterious people because in Game of Thrones, there was only one left. So you want to know more about them. And
some shit went down.
Yeah. And I was just going to say that it would be so cool if both shows were amazing, for us. Nobody wants to sit through a shitty show. So, and especially if they spend all that money, we just want the good stuff, and everything's good, it's perfect. So,
dude, it's crazy that both of these shows are literally airing at the same time. I think Game of Thrones starts August 21st, which is like in 4 weeks. And then like a week or so later, the Lord of the Rings starts airing. So they're literally going to be both be airing at the same time. Like, that's nuts. So we're going to be reviewing all those things in depth. It's going to be fun to talk about all those.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be crazy.
I hope we could pick a winner. That'd be fun.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so...
And
go ahead.
Yeah, no. Look, we got swords and dragons coming up. I'm like, all right, just shifting genres from like superhero-y stuff the first half of the year with like the boys and all that other stuff. Now we're switching into like dragons and swords for the second half of the year.
Yeah. Speaking of,
I think that, yeah, and then go for it.
And then just coming up the rear, like raising their hand, they're like, "Hey, we got some shit for you guys too." A little trailer called Dungeons and Dragons. Man,
Dude,
that was a good shit.
When
Good shit.
when they first announced the movie, I'm like, fuck that. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And they're like, Chris Pine's in it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they announced the rest of the cast. I'm like, oh, there's some people in this film. And then the trailer came out yesterday because Chris Pine has a pretty good track record, and he's just always funny and charismatic. So I'm like, all right. And Game of Thrones or Dungeons and Dragons, I'm like, all right, whatever. So this trailer comes out yesterday, and within like the first few seconds of it, it's like, oh, this is cool. And then like the Led Zeppelin song kicks in. I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of like
a fucking needle
Ragnarok.
drop,
Dude. And the whole trailer is awesome. Like, where did this come from? And then I had to look up later, like, who are the people who made this? And then I realized, like, oh damn, this movie's gonna be fucking awesome. It's written and directed by the same guys who wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming, and they also directed Bad Horrible Bosses, and they did Date Night. We love Date Night. Date Night is like 10 times better than it should have been. Like, it's hilarious.
Date Night or Game Night?
Sorry, Game Night. Good catch, dude. Good catch. That's why you're here. Dude, Billy Bob would have never caught in that slip up. That's why we have you instead of Billy Bob.
That's right.
Yeah, Date Night. And they gave him a shit ton of money.
Asshole. You said Date Night.
God damn it.
You're such an ass. Good one, buddy.
Maybe Billy Bob should take my place this week. Yeah, I screwed myself. Anyways, those two dudes are doing Dungeons and Dragons. Got that part right. It looks awesome. And I think it's going to be funny. And it's going to have some charm. And it's going to be big action. And it's got a budget. And it's going to be everything you want. And it's going to be goofy. It's Dungeons and Dragons. You can't take it too serious. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's March of next year. And damn it, we're both in. I showed Christina and she was like, holy shit, that looks awesome. Yeah. So yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, I think came in and did the needle drop on both those other Game of Thrones and House of the or the Lord of the Rings. I'm like, damn, these dudes are just bringing it. Yeah. So
they came over here with the fun. Yeah, me too.
Dude, yeah.
I'm stoked. Yeah,
just in case, like, either of those other two shows leaves like a bad taste in your mouth, you got Dungeons and Dragons around the corner. Be like, we got this.
Yeah, that needle drop, man. I just wanted to hear the whole song, man. Like, you know, it was so good. And then Chris Pine, I gotta tell you, I don't know if I ever told you this, but one of the saddest things that ever happened to me was having to watch the Green Lantern movie. And Chris Pine has always been my dream cast for Hal Jordan. And but it's not gonna happen, you know, because he's in the Wonder Woman movie, and they wasted him on that character. I'm like, dude, he would have been the perfect Hal Jordan. I love Chris.
He was great in that role, but yeah, it's a very I love the first Wonder Woman. He's so good, and they're both so good together. Yeah, and then I think we turned off Wonder Woman for the second one before his character even showed up because that movie was just so bad.
No, I think we left it on to see how confused we can get. We're like, what? We just get
this a real movie?
What the fuck? Are they fucking with me? Day one, let me tell you, our faces got cramps. We got cramps in our faces from fucking confusion. Anyways,
but yeah,
Chris Pine, man.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, dude. Yeah, and they got the right cast for Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm all there. I'm so for it. I'm ready for it. I'm so excited. It's like fucking like 8 or 9 months away still. That kind of sucks. But hey, all right. All right, moving on. Let's move on to what's new on the list this week.
New on the list. We had so much stuff to talk about before, so I only had like one thing, and
Yeah.
it's on Paramount Plus, and it's Behind the Music. I don't know if you guys remember VH1, and we used to get those Behind the Music shows, and it's kind of like a retaking of that or updating some of those episodes. Man, I
Uh-huh.
love that stuff. I love the documentary musician kind of where
Yeah.
are they now stuff, and they have some A-listers up there, man. So I'm pretty excited to crack some of these open. They got Jennifer Lopez, Fat Joe, Duran Duran, like all these great musicians and artists. They got Lil Wayne in there in case you want some Little Wheezy. They got everybody up there, man. So on Paramount Plus, if you want
Are
to
these
check out
new
some,
episodes?
yeah, they're new episodes. They're new episodes. They're like say like some of these artists already had a behind the music from way back in the
Yeah.
day. So they're re-interviewing them and basically taking from where that left off from the previous behind the music. So from there
Okay.
to now, so say from
Yeah.
2004 to now, where's Ricky Martin been? What's he been up to? What's J Lo been up to? I think we know about J Lo.
She has like a freaking thing on Netflix right now.
Yeah,
Some
I
kind
heard
of
it's pretty
like
good. It's the
I'm
halftime.
just
It's called
yeah,
halftime.
or something like that. Christina watched
Yeah,
most of it, and I'm not a real big fan of hers, so I'm like, I'm good. But I don't know. Whatever.
but
And I wonder if this show goes into her. I heard Affleck just got married, I guess like a week or two ago or something like that.
oh no, this is before because that this is actually like the second part of the first season because the first part of the first season aired like 6 months ago, and she was
Oh,
on
okay.
that. So this is older.
Got it. All right, cool.
Yeah, Behind the
Yeah, it's
Music
always
on
fun to
Paramount
listen to.
Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool they're doing it still.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right. Moving on to what I think is our last feature for today. What is it?
Double feature time, man. Time to pick a
Yeah.
movie, and in honor of Robin Williams' birthday the other day, we're gonna go ahead and pick Robin Williams films. You want to go first? Or want
Cool.
me to go first?
Actually, I'm gonna tell a Robin Williams story for a second.
All right, go for it.
Um, I met Robin Williams years ago when I was a
Nice.
kid here in San Francisco. My uncle lived here while I still lived in San Diego, and we for some reason we ended up at watching like a small independent play in the city. And after the play, we took like this side stairwell down the back area. Just I don't know, for whatever reason. As we were walking
Oh,
down the stairwell, Robin Williams was walking up the stairwell, and it was just us. Like
damn.
and then Robin Williams, and then my uncle kind of stopped, and I recognized Robin Williams. I'm like, that's fucking Mork, because I watched Mork
Yeah.
and Mindy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then my uncle just like just kind of stopped and said, "Oh, hey, man," and like whatever. And Robin Williams was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Thank you." Oh, he's like, "I love, I'm a fan." He's like, "Oh, thank you." And I was like, and we just kind of kept going on our way. And I'm like, that was fucking Robin Williams, man. I
That's
thought it was so
crazy.
cool as a kid. I was like, what? Like in the stairwell, it says we're in this
Random.
older building,
Yeah.
super random. And it was funny because the play we watched was Aladdin, like a small
Oh,
independent.
yeah.
And then like 10 years later, he was the voice of the genie. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. So the irony there or the coincidence, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Robin Williams, man, one of a kind. Let's get on to our picks. I'm gonna let you pick yours first. I mean, there's no shortage of picks
Yeah.
here, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. I'm
All right,
gonna
what you got?
I'm gonna go with a pretty much obvious show, but Good Will Hunting. I
Yeah.
just love that movie. And then it's funny because I have a teenager, and I'm always telling him it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And he's like, stop, because I showed him the movie and he bawled.
Oh, that's funny.
So I'm always telling him it's not your fault. He's like, stop. But anyways, it's a great movie. It's I'm glad my kid liked it, and we all watched it together as a family, and it was great. I mean, Zenaida
That
didn't
feels
watch
great.
it, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think I'm 90% sure we own the screenplay for that. I think we've read it, Good Will Hunting, which
yeah,
is a lot of fun. Man, that film. has a history. I don't know if you've heard like the early history and like the because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote it together, and they
Yeah.
spent years writing it.
Yeah.
And like the early first drafts of Good Will Hunting were they were literally like on the run from the CIA, and it was like a road action movie. Like it was like not at all what it became. Like it was like it just had all these little pieces of like a genius, but this genius
Yeah.
was up to no good, and then he like
Yeah.
broke into the CIA, and the CIA ended
Yeah.
up chasing him across the country and blah blah.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck kind of movie was that?
Yeah.
But then they took the budget way down and had you got like you can make this movie in 4 scenes or 4 locations.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Um, but man, the movie's awesome. I remember watching it in the theaters. I'm like, this is so good. It's like real people having real conversations, and just everyone is screwed up in their own way, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to be who you are and just try to do your best. And we're gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna keep trying to be better. And I love the sequence when Ben Affleck tells him like, or Matt Damon saying, "Yeah, we're just gonna hang out here and
Mm.
grow old together with kids," and Ben Affleck's like,
Yeah.
I love you, man, but if you're still here with your potential, like I'll kill you if you
Yeah.
don't like reach your potential. And like I thought that was so good. I was like, I've never seen like two friends talk like that before. Like, I love you, and if you keep up this shitty thing, like you have to go follow not just your dreams, but your potential. Like don't hold your potential back because you think you just want to hang out
Yeah.
and get drunk.
I
And I was
love
like,
that
fuck,
movie.
this is good. That movie's great.
I love that film, man, and it's that scene that you're talking about is one of my favorite scenes too. My pick. Oh, that was my pick. You talked about
That
it so
was your
much.
pick?
I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
good job.
good job. See, there you go. Now it's your turn.
Yeah. It was tough, man. Robin Williams has a bunch of stuff, but there's one film that I think kind of like epitomized like his ability to be like super goofy, and also super sincere at the same time.
Mm,
And it's a movie that I really like it. I don't love it. I remember sitting in the theater like liking it but not loving it, but this movie's still growing on me. I really like this film overall, and it's Hook. Steven Spielberg directed Robin Williams in Hook.
yeah.
And he's like a super serious guy in this super unserious situation, and then when he flips a switch to like be this goofy guy, it's like it's so much fun to see his range in this super over the top crazy film.
Yeah.
And to see him against like as like a father in this film, it's like such a different departure, but it's totally Robin Williams like the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun film, and it's got like a massive budget. Spielberg being Spielberg, and him like interacting with like Julia Roberts as like Tinkerbell. It's so like it's just a fun like it's got a lot of joy. It's like a joyous film for Robin Williams. And when they announced Robin Williams and Hook, I'm like, what the hell? Robin Williams playing Peter Pan? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he did a different take on it. And so I'm gonna go with Hook just because it's so different, and he you see so many different sides of his character as him as an actor in the film.
Yeah. I don't have a big relationship with that movie. I think I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I'm like not a huge Julia Roberts fan, so I think that played a role in it. I'm like, she's in it. I'm good. I'm good. So, so yeah, I remember seeing it once.
But
I think he's good in everything he's been in.
Yeah, he's never bad. Like is it not in 1 Hour Photo? Super creepy.
Yeah, Insomnia, creepy. You know,
Insomnia was super creepy.
Yeah, like I think he does.
I think if we want
too.
Yeah, my backup for this whole thing is like a super early '80s film with him. That is just a fun, goofy film. Is Club Paradise. Do you watch Club Paradise?
Yeah.
I like that movie. I think it's really funny. He's just him, and I think he has to take over like this dilapidated resort like in Jamaica, and he has to like make it work with guests, and everything's falling apart at the same time. The government's starting to like fall apart, and like there's like a mini revolution brewing, and at the same time there's like this whole like subculture drug trade on the side. Or like it's just a fun 80s ridiculous over the top film. I think that movie's funny every time. Like it's funny. Club Paradise. If you want something much lighter.
I have a honorable mention too.
Yeah.
I have Birdcage. I love the Birdcage, bro. You ever seen that? That shit is hilarious.
Yeah, we saw it in the theaters.
Man,
him and Nathan Lane together.
Man, that dinner scene, it was so funny. Nathan Lane's so over the top, but man, I loved it. And then they pulled it off with Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman's such a Gene Hackman, I just think of like Enemy of the State, Hoosiers,
Yeah,
and Crimson,
grizzled.
yeah, Crimson Tide. Shut the fuck up, whatever. And
Yeah,
man, that movie was awesome. So that was gonna be my pick,
and
my
then
second pick.
Hank Azaria as the scene stealer, and when he
Oh
shows up in the
yeah,
birdcage, I'm like, oh my god.
yeah,
But yeah, that's Robin Williams, man, gone too soon. Damn it.
yeah,
Super bummer. But
super
yeah, I mean,
bummer.
but his films live on, man. Check them out when you get a chance.
Yep. All right, man.
Yeah,
This is our show.
yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, I was super excited, man. Like when we were reading the intro, I was like, "Oh, I just want to get this going," because there was so much cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah, too much stuff, but yeah, it's fun. And we talk about shit, and we have to talk about it when it actually starts airing.
I know, when we get to watch it.
Yeah, into it, man. It's always like, man, this first half of the year, super loaded. Like, I hope the second half's gonna have something at least for us to talk about and be cool. And all of a sudden, it's like boom, boom, boom. We're like, oh damn.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. So we got they filled us full of ammo. We're ready to go.
All right, guys. Well, that's our show. Thanks everybody for listening. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or recommendations, please let us know. Let us know if we're missing anything that you guys like that we're not paying attention to. Let us know. Anything else? Any last thoughts?
Oscar Isaacs was robbed.
All right, I'm Francisco.
And Andres.
Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next time.